Hey folks, today I want to talk about the idea of obsession, how a 30-day sprint can change the trajectory of your life for once and forever. I've been thinking about this more than usual as I come up close to the launch of something I've been working on for a long time now. And as I look back, I realized that I could have contracted the whole process in a matter of a few months instead of the year that it took me to get to this point. I also see this opportunity as being a massive unlock in my experience of life, my quality of life, the level of attunement that I have with life. And so, in a way, there's long periods where I wasn't giving it my all. I didn't put myself in that state of wanting to get this thing out there as soon as possible. That long period was a huge opportunity cost. It was a huge life cost. And that is what we do many times in life. That's what I've been guilty of many countless times in the past, where I take a project and I work on it, but instead of determining that I'm going to finish this in this span of time, and instead of setting ambitious goals in short, I give myself leave and tell myself that this can take long because it's still going to be meaningful. It's just something I'm excited by. But if I can project myself in my life beyond that particular project, if that project passes a certain threshold of promise, then what we're talking about is being able to get something out there, being able to finish something, complete something that can radically change the trajectory of your life. Let's take a step back from this point. So right now, you're most likely living your median life. Most likely, you could imagine your best life, and you could imagine your worst case life, and it's exceedingly likely that you're not there. And there are billions and trillions of lives, that life paths that are in between the best outcomes that you could have lived and the worst outcomes that you could have lived. The reason you're living a median outcome instead of the good ones, the best ones, the 99th percentile one, and the reason I'm living that has been this theme of a lack of obsession, lack of intensity. And one of the things which has stopped me subconsciously in choosing this path of burning intensity on what I'm working on is this element of it not being sustainable, right? And which is why I bring it back to 30-day sprints, having this focus period where you give this thing, you determine that, okay, determine this thing to have all of the necessary attributes in terms of what I'm looking for what I want to do in life. And if the thing that you're working on, the project that you're working on, the product that you're building, the course that you're taking, the thing that you're doing, the experience that you're going to design, if it satisfies those conditions, when those are going to be subjective, obviously, then at that point you bite the bullet. You decide that next 30 days, next 60 days, I'm going to give this my all to the exclusion of everything else. I'm going to put everything else aside, nothing else matters, because if I do this with my heart, my soul, my mind, every single iota of my body, then I'm going to radically upgrade my life. In the counterfactual, and I can see that because I'm living the counterfactual. Had I been obsessed a year back, what I'm working on, for which I've had a ton of great, very promising conversations, this could have been out in the world, but I kept on delaying it. I kept on spreading the work around, right? And Parkinson's law says that work spreads to fill the time allotted. And this is why you set these quasi-artificial constraints and timelines for yourself by giving yourself a month. So for me, this month I'm launching 2 products that even if they don't do well in terms of acquiring a significant user base, just the very promise of the product, just for my own joy and learning and the value that these products would provide me, and even in terms of the pride, right? Because both of these are quite difficult and they're doing something new in the world. They would just be a source of inspiration for me for anything else I do in the future. And when I set that template, when I set down the gauntlet that I can do these super challenging things in these periods of intense dedication, of intense focus. And this is my message to my future self, that every now and then you'll come across this moment where you're working on something. It could be a product you're building, it could be a project you want to start, it could be a theory you're working on, it could be a book you're writing, it could be a talk you need to give. Well, talk is separate from that, but these are projects that can take a long time. What you want to do is artificially constrain these timelines, because you know that what lies beyond the success or even the execution of these projects, what lies beyond the launch of these products, is a far better life, is a far more fulfilling life, is a far richer life. And so you gotta, your self-talk in those moments where you come across these projects, and one of the things that you want to do in life is to fill up your life with as many of these things as possible, right? So you have these periods where you take on an intense project sprint for a month, and then you coast through for a few months, and then you take on your next one. That'd be the ideal life. You don't want to have a completely coasting life. That is not the life ideal that I want for you. Also, having a completely obsessed, intense mindset all the time is not sustainable if you want to operate at your peak intellectual capacity. So there's a balance there. But we tend to, and I've been guilty of this, I tend to take it easy. I always tend to take it safe. And so my message to myself is to be more ambitious in the goals I set for myself, and to drown myself with all of the tools at my disposal and invent the new tools I need to in those moments. But what I cannot afford to do in the future, what I'm not going to afford to do from this moment onwards, is once I realize, okay, this project I'm building, this project I'm doing, it's very meaningful to me, it's going to make a significant difference, it's going to bring a lot of value to the world, it's going to have a substantial positive impact on the world. At that point, it's dereliction of duty to yourself, most importantly, but also to the people who believe in you, people who might believe in you in the future, and the world more broadly. So you gotta, it's your moral duty, it's your sacred duty to put your head down and just give it your best for the 30-day period, and then engage in these 30-day cycles every few months so that you keep on producing things that you can be proud of. Yeah, that's my message to you. Yeah, I'll catch you soon. Cheers, bye.